Recording. Great. Good morning, everybody. My name is Mike Singletary. I am located at the National Cybersecurity Training and Education Center. We are hosted at Whatcom Community College in Bellingham, Washington. It's up in the northwest corner, really close to Vancouver, BC, and just north of Seattle, Washington. NCyTE does provide lots of training opportunities for faculty, for industry. We have free curriculum on the web, and we offer professional development. We support stipends for traveling sometimes. So we have a whole host of different things available to you. And today we're going to be talking about the Virtual Cyber Career Challenge. Vinny, got a couple more things here to introduce. So if you don't mind, please introduce yourself in the chat. This is a way for everybody to connect, network, and see who else is on the meeting today. Please keep your microphones on mute when the presentation begins. Again, we're recording this, and it's always better to have a clean recording than a bench chatter in the back. Please use the chat to ask questions. There will be more time for questions at the end of the presentation. And we will try to answer the question as we go through the presentation as well. And then today's recording will be posted on NCyTE.net. We will have that available probably in the next few days. Before February 17th. Okay, great. I want to remind everybody that we have another meeting. These are our monthly member meetings. Our next meeting is February 17th at 9 a.m. It'll be on satellites, positioning, data acquisition, GNSS versus GPS, and potential security vulnerabilities. Vincent Donato, Director of the National Geospatial Technology Center of Excellence, will be presenting on that. And let's go to next
if they're logging on, they need to make sure they mute when they get on. So,
yeah, I'm trying to monitor that at the same time.
okay. One note about next month's meeting is that one of the focuses we have is trying to integrate and have a collaboration between the other the ATE national centers and the faculty there to meet with cyber faculty and try to integrate cyber training into their program, and then provide us more of a business perspective so that we can integrate business activities and perspectives around that center's sector of work. So anyway, there's going to be some workshops in the future that we'll be talking about.
Yeah, it's one of NCyTE's goals and objectives this year is to work with other disciplines to help them integrate cybersecurity into those disciplines. And as Stephen mentioned, we're going to have a workshop in August, and our March meeting will actually be covering more of those initiatives and things that we'll be doing to reach out to other disciplines. Okay, so new NCyTE members. I'm happy to let everybody know that we now have over 400 institutional members. So I think we're at 401. So here's the list of our new institutions: Hallmark University from San Antonio, Texas; College of Eastern Idaho, Idaho Falls, Idaho; Johnson County Community College, Overland Park; Massachusetts Bay Community College. You guys can read this, but I'll say it anyhow. Wake Technical Community College, Raleigh, North Carolina; Milwaukee School of Engineering, Milwaukee, Wisconsin; and Bossier Parish Community College in Bossier City, Louisiana. Hope I pronounced that right. Is that right?
Yeah, Bossier
Parish. And if you're interested in becoming a member, some of you are here today as a guest, or you found out about the meeting in some other way. Just to remind you that we have free curriculum resources. For example, exploring the cybersecurity maturity model certificate. We have a recorded 2-day workshop on that. We have the critical infrastructure cybersecurity course. We also offer cyber camps, and we have some resources and documentation to help you if you want to offer a cyber camp. And we have the Cybersecurity Centers of Academic Excellence support. So some of you are a CAE institution. We help institutions go through that application process. So if you have a cybersecurity program and you don't have the CAE currently, reach out to us and we can help you get started with that as well. We also have student opportunities to participate in competitions. This last fall, we we funded registrations for over 250 students to participate in the National Cyber League. And it's also a great way to just connect with the growing cybersecurity network. We offer a lot of opportunities, and we ask our people who are members to contribute in different ways. So it could be professional development, offering a workshop, maybe you could be the facilitator, or even presenting at one of our monthly membership meetings. So I encourage you to apply at NCyTE.net. And if you're not familiar with our website, we just, last October, we went to a new platform, but to find the membership information is pretty easy. Just go to that top tab where it says membership, drop down, and there's their membership application. So now I'm going to turn it over to our host, Stephen Miller, and let him introduce today's guest speaker. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Welcome, everyone. We have about 30 participants now, Vincent. So Vinny's going to cover the virtual cybersecurity career challenge overview, and Vincent is an associate professor and director for Cybersecurity Center and principal investigator for NCyTE Challenge Project for California State University, San Bernardino. So I'm going to turn it over to Vinny, and we thank you for your support here.
All right, am I on?
You're on.
All right.
Yeah, I don't see the, are you sharing?
I'm going to.
Okay.
I didn't want to hijack your screens until the appropriate time. All right. Where are you? Give me one sec. I just started using Zoom this week. Just kidding. I think it's this one. There we go. I got so many screens open that it's not, I'm not sure which one I'm sharing. All right, there we go. You guys can see my screen, I assume.
Yep.
All right. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for showing interest in the Cyber Career Challenge. This is an experience that we're providing for students to take on and hopefully get a lot of really good real world experience that will help make you significantly more marketable when you graduate and you go, or even before you graduate and apply for jobs and go to interviews. So let me tell you what well, first, my name is Dr. Vincent Nestor. I'm a professor at Cal State San Bernardino. I'm also the principal investigator for the NCyTE Challenge Project. I'm a director of the Cybersecurity Center at Cal State, and a bunch of other things, but we'll go with that for now. So, and I've been teaching cybersecurity before it was called cybersecurity. It's probably 30 years now. Let's say 25. No, it's 30. And don't let the youthful appearance fool you. And this experience is something that I think over the years has come to a kind of this culminating activity that I think really kind of encapsulates all the things that students need to get as experience before they go out to the real world. So let's talk about the Cyber Career Challenge. So what's the Cyber Career Challenge? Cyber Career Challenge is about a 10-week experience where the students who are interested and get selected and show the right commitment to be able to do this, because it is a challenge, will get broken up into groups of 3 or 4. I will deploy for everybody on virtual environment in vSphere, VMware, a small network of about 10 devices. And for about 7 weeks or so, you will be building that network out to support a business function, a business that you as a team create. Like one team created a beans business. So they were in the business of selling beans and then taking beans and refry them or whatever. That was their business. But you have to create an entire information system infrastructure to support it. Email, website, shopping cart. You have to secure it. Everybody has to have accounts, etc. So it's actually taking everything you've learned in pieces throughout your your academic experience and bring it to bear to actually build a network. At around 2 weeks or so before the end, there will be an operations and pen test week. What does that mean? That means your network goes live, and then by live, it doesn't mean anybody can get to it. It's within the context of our exercise. People, they're going to be users using your website. They're going to be trying to buy stuff. They're going to be putting in tickets saying, hey, this doesn't work. I need to change my order, whatever. Meanwhile, you will be pen tested for that week. So there will be a red team constantly trying to hack your stuff. And at the end of that week, when it's over, you'll take a look at your network. You'll analyze and see what compromises may have taken place. You'll put together a PowerPoint presentation, and then you'll do there'll be a grand presentation time where you'll present to each other, but it also will be open to the public. We expect to have some folks from industry there, so look at what you're doing. Uh-oh, what'd I do?
Pretty much, this is like, okay, read the slide, we're good.
What was the question?
I think that might have been a random.
Okay. So, and it'll be open to the public, and by public, I don't mean anybody walking off the street. I don't think anybody would want, but there'll be other folks. Maybe we've had deans from the schools come, or other professors, but also we're looking at having some industry there to see what you've done. So here's an example of the network you might be given something like this. It won't be Windows 7, it'll be Windows 10, but you'll get a 3-segment network. You have an internal, a screen subnet, and access to the internet. You also have like a security machine that you can use to try and test your network's security if you so wish. Here's an example list of all the things that you would have to do as a team. Come up with a business concept. You have to sell 3 goods and 3 services. Project management. You have to set up a Gantt chart, a Visio diagram of the network as it will be, as you create it. Maybe you change IP addresses, you change operating systems, update, upgrade, whatever that is. You'll have that. This says FedRAMP. This is not actually FedRAMP. It's going to be using the CSET tool, which Professor Miller has done a great job helping us get that set up. So you'll be proving that your network is actually in compliance with a particular standard, and we'll talk about that. Web database, setting up analytics dashboard to show uptimes, traffic, all that stuff. So you'll be doing all of that as a team in 7 weeks. So obviously it's way too much for one person to do. This can only work as a team, right? You have to split up, like, okay, you're going to work on, you can split up however you want, but somebody's generally working on the project management side of things. Somebody else is working maybe on the networking. Somebody else is working on the hardening and some of the details there. You figure out how to parse out the details, and you all do it however you wish. It's not, I don't, how your team decides to figure out how to do things in what order. Different teams come up with different approaches, and that's a beautiful thing. So the probably, if there's nothing else that you hear from what I'm saying, well, this is probably the most important thing for me to share with you, the commitment level, right? So this is I'm giving you a network, and you're all going to figure out as a group how to do this in your team. I'm going to be kind of like the semi-moronic supervisor that will help you and assist you and give you guidance, but there's very little procedural instruction, right? So it won't be like, okay, everybody, we're going to go over setting up Active Directory. Here are the steps. Let's do this together, right? There's very little of that. There will be discussions on how to manage a project. You know, how do you set priorities? How do you figure out what you can do concurrently and which things are dependent on each other, backwards planning, all of that we'll be discussing. We'll be using something called a Kanban. Maybe I'll show you an example of that in a minute. We'll be using a Kanban, which is kind of like a project management board that helps you keep track of each member of a team and what they're doing. So the important thing is, it's a huge commitment of time and effort. So it's not something you say, yeah, you know, I'll do it. I have time. I have a couple hours on Saturday and I'll just do it. It won't work. It's something that you have to say, okay, I want to prove to myself and the world that I know this piece of I'm competent at what I do, whether it's network administration, at management, or whatever it is relating to cybersecurity. This is your chance to show you were given a blank network, basically, and you were able to get it to perform and work in a way that would support a business. So if you don't have the prerequisite knowledge, it's going to be very difficult for you to learn TCP/IP and be able to do this at the same time. If you're not close to graduating, or you're not close to having finished your academic work, or you don't have appropriate experience either messing around with your own network at home or working at a job, this may not be the program for you, right? It's something where it's like, okay, you've learned you've done your academic coursework. Now let's do something that's going to show that you've got the goods. So yeah, all right. And so upon completion, successful completion, probably the most valuable thing you're going to get out of this is when you go to a job interview, you'll be able to speak intelligently and with experience to support support your statements about what you're able to do and what you have done. I've had several students now tell me that they were instantly hired after explaining what they were able to do, right? Because you're not just doing the technical stuff. At a recent job fair, I've had several people tell me that are hiring, saying, I have a lot of brilliant butt heads. I don't need another butt head. And butt head wasn't the word that was used, but you can substitute that word you want. So what does that mean? Meaning, if you're technically proficient, but you don't play well in a team, you don't know how to communicate, you don't understand business processes, people won't want to work with you. When you do this challenge, you are going to be faced with things like, man, I have to prioritize. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do everything. we have to work in a team. I have to depend on this person. I have to communicate with this person what I need so that when I get to do what I'm doing, it's ready to go and we don't have to redo it. And if you go to a job interview and you're able to explain not only what the challenge was, the problem, how you came up with a solution, how you implemented that solution, how you dealt with any problems that arose as you did that solution, and what the outcome was. If you can explain that, you're instantly hireable. That's what people are dying to see out of students coming out of school. So that is probably the most valuable piece of that you're going to get out of this. The other thing is we finally have this going. Let me see if I can share this now. I think it's there. All right. So when you're done with the challenge, here's an example of last year's challenge. It's a certificate that you'll get. This is probably, I think it's one of the best certificates you can get. Let me explain why. So the certificate is going to be a 4-page certificate. I don't have a copy of it here, but it'll be a 4-page certificate that when you open it up, there'll be information on the inside. And so this is the front of the page. This is the front of the certificate. On the inside, what it'll have is at the top of the inside, it'll have, this was what the challenge was. You were given this network with these things to do. And then there will be a personalized page on the bottom that's like, okay, this is what your team came up with as a network. And this is what you, the individual, did these tasks as it relates to the NICE framework and what work role you did that the task you did relates to, right? So you could bring this to a job interview and have somebody could look at this and say, oh, you did this cyber defense analysis. Oh, you configured the work. How did you configure the workstations? What tools did you put in there and why? Right. And they can have a meaningful conversation to hear how you're thinking about this, how you think, what your decision-making process was. And that's the juice that they need to figure out whether or not you're right for their to work at their location. So so yeah, all right. I want to give a little bit of time for questions, I guess, because I know this is a lot, and if you're not sure, let me and maybe I didn't explain it well enough, but let me open the floor to questions if that's all right.
Vinny, we have one question. Let me find it. It was about the domain. If you're using Microsoft. Where is it?
Let me see. So we're not, so, okay, domain, I wasn't sure where that question was going. All right, so almost everybody so far has set up, so you have to do single sign-on. One of the requirements is user account management, and there has to be a centralized database. Almost everybody's doing Active Directory. If you wanted to do some kind of Linux shibboleth, or I don't know, whatever, some kind of LDAP thing with Linux, that's fine too. You really have a lot of leeway to design the network to the specs that you're given, right? The important thing is I'm giving your team the specs. You guys decide from there. Does that answer the question?
Yes, Vincent. So to my understanding, students don't have to create a Windows domain environment, but they do have to create a single sign-on environment based on the requirements.
Right. So if I have an account, if I have an account and I'm a user, or, let's say I'm just a regular user, I should be able to log in to the network from any of the workstations.
Yeah.
And so, for example, in the past, what we've done is you had to have a Windows workstation, but at least one of the workstations has to be a Red Hat workstation. So you have to figure out how to join Red Hat to the domain and then get it so that when I log in with my credentials on the domain, the Red Hat machine accepts that credential and logs me into that machine. Okay.
Thanks so much.
Sure. How does this compare to the CyberForce Challenge? So CyberForce Challenge is a weekend challenge, unless it's changed, right? It's kind of like a CCDC, but I'm sorry. It's kind of like a CCDC, but more geared towards ICS type stuff, and you have physical devices and things like that. This is a 10-week. This is like a 10-week CCDC, right? Maybe that's not a perfect analogy, but you have 7 weeks to build your network however you want, secure it, and set up whatever intrusion detection system, whatever measures you want to put, you can. And then it's a week-long event of users using your network and being attacked. CCDC is kind of like a day and a half, right, on the weekend. This is going to be like a full week of, and I say full week, it's not like a full week 24 hours a day, it's full week, but maybe 2 or 3 hours out of the day there's a higher active window. Okay, Pamela's got, we're good. Michael, go ahead, you have your hand up.
Yeah, so I've got a couple questions actually. First being, you mentioned that these boxes are going to be on vSphere.
Yeah.
Would students be getting access into vSphere to configure, the virtual switches and whatnot to get it all interconnected, or is that handled on your team?
So that'll be handled on my end. I can't, there are certain back end things I can't, because it's actually on our school's network, right? So, and I don't know if I can show it to you now, but I can show you what's deployed. And so, for example, if you said, I wanted to move this machine somewhere else, like let's say you said, I want to move the domain controller over to the screen subnet area for some reason, right? You would just tell us that, you'd put in a ticket, and then that night we'd move it over for you.
So would they actually be doing any part of the networking portion? Like, do they have access to I see a pfSense router there. Do they have to configure that, or is all the networking handled by you?
No, so they do all the networking in terms of configuring, right? So if they want, so the pfSense firewall, that's all you. The Viata router, all you. These two routers, the LAN and WAN routers, those are all you.
Okay. And my second question is, what's the role in faculty? Do we have to be a representative or a coach to these teams, or do we just tell our students to just go ahead and sign up and
the teams that have done the best have had a faculty mentor.
Okay.
And so the faculty mentor doesn't have to be knowledgeable about, I'm going to say, any of this stuff. They just have to be knowledgeable about human nature, right? Like, how to keep them focused. When they're like, I can't figure this out. I say, well, did you look at the documentation? Did you see it? Did you go to the Stack Exchange? Did you go, it's just kind of giving them guidance as to how you would handle the problem, and just modeling that behavior and giving them support. And that works wonders, right? Because there's so much to do in this that it's very easy for it to become overwhelming. So part of the real world nature of this is, well, how do you eat an elephant, right? One elephant at a time, one piece at a time. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I was just wondering that, I'm going to be advertising this out to my students. They may group up and decide to form a team. I'm just wondering, do I have to pair up with them on the behalf or if they
No.
just sign up on their own and I have no idea that they even did that.
At this time, it's not a requirement that we're making that to have students pair up with have a professor. But again, I just iterate. The students do well when they have somebody else they can, like, they're going to see me once a week, and I'm going to be with them for like 2 hours. And by saying me, that we're also going to have another professor. We're looking for somebody else who wants to do. We're going to have 2 of these running concurrent. So I want to try and train a couple of professors to be able to do this the next time that we run this. So if you're interested in that, let me know, or let Mike know, and we're going to try and do a little training in support of that.
Yeah, I mean, this sounds great. I'm one of the organizers for the WRCC DC competition, so this is quite familiar. I might have some free time here and there if you guys need some help, but
that would be great. So why don't we talk offline? Let's shoot me and Michael an email, and then let's see how we can leverage some of your prior experience and expertise.
Yeah, great. Where can I could you drop your email in the Zoom chat just so I can have
Yes. I'll have one of these guys do it so I don't get sidetracked. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Other questions?
There's some questions in the chat.
Okay. Let me go back to chat. There we go. Okay. At week 8, who will attack the network? I have a team of folks that I'm teaching a pen test class, and I have students that have done the pen test class. So I take students from that, and then this is kind of one of their projects. They're working on this. So it won't be like Cyber Command pen test, but they'll be doing a basic pen test, trying to find all the vulnerabilities. Part of the presentation piece is when the students present, they're going to be presenting how they modified their network. They're then going to say, here's what we found. Here's what the results were from going operational. These are the most tickets we got. These are the, we had this server go down, we got it back up. And here's what we saw in our logs of what we think the red team did, right? Then the red team is going to present saying, we did that. I don't know what you're talking about that. We didn't do that. You guys probably blew it. And here's stuff that we did that you didn't see, right? And then here are the recommendations on how you would stop us from doing that. That's kind of, there's going to be that exchange where we'll see what happens. Other questions? Let me see. Any other question? By the way, it's great to see a lot of familiar faces. I see Michael Burt. We go way back. I see Chip from the competency group there. We got a lot of folks.
Hey, Vincent.
Howdy.
Hi, I think my my question got lost in the chat, so I'll ask you.
Sorry.
John. No worries. John Sicklick from Long Beach City College. So, does a school recruit for students and make a team, or do people apply individually and you create a team across different schools?
Both. Ideally, having gone through this iteration now, with the limited data set I have, the teams that do best are teams that come from the same school, because for the obvious reason, you could reach out and grab somebody by the collar and say, hey man, what are you doing? If I group people from different colleges to work together, schedules, time zones, who knows, there's a lot of stuff that can impact their ability to work properly as a team. And if you have a professor, that's another piece of the glue that helps give them the motivation to push through some of the hard times that come up from this.
Okay, great. And then I'm going to ask a question on behalf of my fellow teacher, Jason Hillman.
Sure.
He also put that in chat. So I know you mentioned it looked like about 160 hours all told effort. So you also mentioned people need to be along in their program to really be able to compete. So looking at our people who are students who are in the capstone and their time commitments already to the school, what would you guess would be like a weekly time commitment for this?
So at least like this would, when you make the commitment to this has got to be like, this is my hobby that I'm going to do. And a hobby maybe my hobbies, I consume me when I get started. I just kind of blow through it. It's got to be something like, okay, this is something I'm going to work on whenever I have spare time and I'm going to commit to. So I want to say the 160 hours is about right. But if they are already, if they're in the capstone piece and they've already, it can be less, right? For example, some people are like, oh, I know my stuff. And they're like, man, I have no idea how to do Red Hat. I'm just lost. I don't get it. And so that winds up taking a lot of their time getting spun up with that. Or, they're used to Cisco and now they're looking at BIOS, and there's that kind of friction for them to kind of get that up and running. Or probably more likely it's PF Sense. But if they have some experience with firewalling and they're like, oh, it may not be that much. And if they're working as a team, well, it may not be that much. So it's, I'm hesitant to give you like, oh, 7 hours, you'd be fine, right? Because something can come up. Like, for example, some teams had a problem saying, I can't get the Red Hat server to join the domain. I don't know, it's not working. And there was something they missed they didn't register, their account wasn't right or something. It was a glitch on their end. And, that could blow out a person's weekend. They're like, it should be working. It's like, it's not working because you didn't do this. By the way, so you know what? Let me show you this because this will be.
Can I throw a comment in there?
Yes, please.
Just to build on what you were saying, I think that what we saw last year, the teams that were really successful were students who were self-motivated. They came with good time management skills. They were really organized and they communicated effectively with their team members. Some of this they're gonna actually build these skills when they're in there, but they really need to have a solid foundation when they come into it. Because I think they spend a lot of time trying to figure that stuff out. And then the technical stuff, they spend additional time trying to figure that out. And that's where it can get overwhelming for a team, somebody on a team. So it's establishing those good habits right in the beginning, being really organized and setting up that structure. And I think it becomes not manageable, but more enjoyable when they're working through that process. So, and I'll add one other thing. One of the instructors talking about teams, one of our most successful groups last year, they came in as a team and they worked as a team from the same university, and they had an instructor who held them accountable. Well, I wouldn't say accountable in the sense that, they're checking on them every day, but checking in with them. And also, we had a bunch of people who applied for this last year. We had more people applied than we had spaces for. So if you have a student who's really interested in doing this, I'd say when they fill out the commitment form, make sure that they address, their skills and abilities, but also their soft skills and how they have developed those, as well as if they have you as a reference, if they put you down in the commitment form. Like, I've talked to my instructor, and my instructor really has recommended that I do this based on where I am right now and thinks I will be successful. Again, we had a lot of students who applied. Unfortunately, we did not have enough spaces, so it's not a guarantee that everybody who applies for this will be on the will be in the challenge. That's my input there. Thank
Perfect
you.
timing. All right, so here's there's a web app called Mural, and this is the example of this is towards the end, but all the teams get to, let me see where it's outlined. There we go. So all the teams will be given a Kanban, and throughout the process, they're going to have backlog, doing, done, right? And each team member is going to be color coded. So I see everything Jacob did, Sergio did, and Christian did, and what they did as a team here. So I can easily see what the teams are working on, how they're making progress. But all the teams see all the teams' Kanbans. So it's, what'll happen is team 1 will say, oh, team 4 is updating their Active Directory. Should we update to the new? And then they'll talk like, why are you updating it? Oh, we want to use this software. The software is only compatible with, server 2019 or something like that. It's like, oh, we're not using that software. We don't have to do it, right? So there's a lot of cross-pollination and discussion. So it's not really a competition in as much as, there's no first place winner. So as a result, there's more of a collaboration between teams. So for example, teams like, oh, if you're trying to register the Red Hat, here's the page, here's the information you guys should use, because then you won't waste time like we did. So that kind of goes on. So that's also how this kind of differentiates from a competition. It's not you're competing against each other. You're actually hoping everybody makes it through. And you have the benefit of, well, you went that direction, I went this direction. At the presentations, we can also find out, hey, you chose to use, MariaDB instead of MySQL. How'd that work? And so that's happening too. And that gives people more, again, a lot more detailed information. So when they go for a job interview, they have some experience. We can say, well, here's the database I prefer to use. Here's why. Had another buddy who was using it, and this was a problem he ran into, blah, 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 right? So, yeah, this is Mural. This is what we're using. And it's been a great way to manage the chaos, right? If I'm allowing all these students to do whatever they're doing on their networks in whatever direction they want to go, this allows me to look at a network and say, oh, this team looks a little light, as opposed to, say, this team looks more like they've gotten a lot of stuff done. By the way, on the Kanban, they also have, so they have to do a reflection piece towards the end where it's like, okay, or during like what went well, what didn't go well, how did they fix it? This is also typical job interview questions. So tell me a project you worked on. All right, what didn't go well and how did you address the situation, right? That's like such a typical question. And this will give them, data that they can actually think about, write about, and work on and discuss. Other questions? By the way, do I have a time limit? I'm just yapping here. I don't know.
You're doing fine.
Okay.
Well,
More questions, anybody?
I have a comment about the interview process. Have you had some kind of a industry partner talk with students just to kind of get an idea what they might come up with for questions, or have you thought about that? I mean, we have, I guess we could tap into our industry network and try to have them give us a list of questions so they could practice or be aware of what might come up as a result of completing.
So we had industry folks, we had 2 industry folks at the last presentations, and they gave some feedback on the whole exercise. And I mean, without going into detail, they were over the moon. They were like, if I had students applying for my jobs and they had this experience, I would hire them immediately. This is exactly what they're looking for. As far as questions, I'll confess I have a repository of questions that were asked from students from like every job fair for the last, 10 years or something like that. So I have that, which I can easily share. But if you have other industry questions that you want to share, that'd be great too.
Okay.
The certificate is kind of like your talk, like even before you go to your job interview. Let me go back to the certificate for a second. Right. So I know it's kind of hard to see, but you have work roles here, the NICE framework as it, the task that they did as it relates to the NICE framework, and the actual task that they specifically did. Before you go to a job interview, I would look at the certificate and say, well, what job am I going for? Is the job I'm going for similar to a vulnerability analyst, or is it more of an IT project manager, whatever it is? And then look at this just before you go, say, oh yeah, that remember, Nestor told me this, my team did that, and I had to. And then when you go for your job interview, you're like, they'll be eating out of your own hand, right? Because you'll have something that you could speak to that's not, okay, this was a class project. My professor gave me this and I coded that and everything worked wonderfully. But yeah, but did your stuff that you built get actually used by users? No. Did your stuff get pen tested by people who were actively going after it for the whole week? No. What did you learn from, there's stuff that the students got out of this that even I couldn't have imagined. Like, the red team was able to put some malware on. The blue team found the malware. They saw that the malware was going to a Gmail account. They sent an email to the Gmail account to try and, get them, try and social engineer them to, it was a whole other story of intrigue that came out of that was glorious, right? Because it's a great story on how they found it and how they chose to interact with the bad guys. But anyway, so yeah, I guess I think that answers whatever question I was trying to answer. Other questions?
One that was in the chat you might have missed is at week 8, who will attack the network? Do you have a team for that?
Yeah, I mentioned I have a pen test class, and I have students have gone through the pen test class. So they're, once a student goes through the pen test class and they pen tested, the sadness after they've gained all this knowledge and experience is, I have no one to legitimately unleash all of my pen testing prowess upon. So finding folks to join in and work on this has not been a problem. So it's usually pen testing students that, have already done a pen test or two already and have worked for, gone on an internship for, some government agency. Other questions, anybody?
I have one more comment.
Sure.
So what we also want to remind people or encourage people to do is, if you have a student who needs to earn credit through an internship or a co-op, this would be a great opportunity to do that as well. It usually takes 4 to 6 weeks through your institution to get that set up. They will pay and they'll register through their institution for your institution for those credits. But we can provide the support that those students would need to verify that they're doing what Vinny's showing you here. Might even be what you need to get this internship or co-op started. But just wanted to make that available, or put that idea out there.
Is this a platform available during the summer?
What was the question?
Can you do this? Can you have this as an internship project during the summer? Because we have an internship that we run during the summer.
So depending on who I get trained, right? If I get a few professors that go through the training of like, well, how do you manage this chaos? What are the milestones that you're looking for? How are you doing? So I'm setting up something where there's a peer, not peer review, peer evaluation between,
Yeah.
So because I'm not able to tell what everybody's doing, when I look at a Kanban, every time somebody puts something up on the Kanban, if somebody in the team puts something up on the Kanban, I did this, but they didn't. I expect the teams to say, hey, what the hell are you doing? You didn't do that, right? Or so there's a kind of self-regulating mechanism in place, because everything that they say they did, they're getting credit for, but and they may be taking it from someone else. So there's that, but there's also a peer evaluation where it's like, did the person play as a team? There was a person, contribute, person show up on me, blah, 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 that kind of thing. That also helps me keep track of whether or not people are living up to their potential for this.
Make one other comment too, is that this virtual cyber career challenge, I don't know if you put those dates up there, Vinny, but this is for starting on the week of April 10th and wrapping up on the week of June 15th. That's kind of our schedule for this one. And then, like Vinny said, if we're looking for other folks to teach this or supervise it, this is the second year that Vinny's done it, and we'd really like to expand that. So we had piloted it last year, very popular, very successful. And this year we're trying to we made some improvements, and we would like to expand it.
Okay, that sounds great. Well, if there's no more questions. Last chance for questions.
Let me see. Give me a second. I think I have the dates here.
I have a slide if you want me to show that.
I think I might be able to. Yeah, why don't you share it? You can. I'll stop my share and you can put that up. Your slide will look prettier than what I just copy and pasted right here.
Okay.
Hey, Vinny, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Has anyone ever thought about making this a course at their college? I mean, you're talking 7-8 weeks. I could almost see a college or university making this a capstone type course for a group of students, or
100%. This is what we're using as a capstone for Cal State for our IST Bachelor's of Science course. So yeah, I'm doing this concurrent with doing concurrent. It's already rolling in on the university side. And part of the impetus for this was, when we did it as a capstone, we got so much good feedback, at the very least, in terms of like, oh, this is the first class that I'm able to bring everything that I've done into one place, and I'm working with. So then we talked to Corrine and we said, hey, would you like to offer this to other schools? And she was like, yeah. And that's how we kind of came about this. So yeah, and if you want to do this as a capstone, I don't have the resources to make it available to everybody, but I can certainly do a kind of a workshop on here's all the things that you would need to make this work, and here are the things to keep in mind from what I've learned. Like I said, the Kanban is one of the great ways to manage the chaos. There's a whole piece that I didn't go into about work roles, right? I had the students look at work roles, they figure out which work roles they like, what are the tasks from the work roles that they like, and then I asked them to try their best to do those tasks in the context of this exercise. So this also gives them a chance to get real world experience as it relates to the thing they're most likely to apply for as a job.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, I teach the capstone course at a couple universities, and I think this would be a heck of a lot more meaningful and useful to the students than what they currently have. So I definitely will be talking with the folks.
Yeah, let's talk. I mean, like I said, man, we go way back to Capital when it was actually a college.
Yeah, right. That was like yesterday. Yeah, or maybe last year. Yeah.
So yeah, anything else? I know we're kind of coming on up to time.
There's a question in the chat, Vinny. It says the requirements in the email said students only need an introduction to cybersecurity course, but sounds like advanced network defense would be more appropriate.
So here's the funny thing, right? I've had students that have no credits do great because they worked, they work on Geek Squad or something, right? Or I've had students who are ready to graduate and they don't know anything, it's just, I think we've all seen stuff like that. So it's hard to say what the prerequisites are, other than my sense is they should know what they're getting themselves into. They should know that they're not going to have a person giving them procedural information, right? And to make it's kind of like being on a CCDC team with longer periods of time to work on it, right? So you don't have to be CCDC team ready, but because in CCDC team, when they give you an inject, you have like an hour to do, 2 hours to do. And if you don't know it, you have to learn it quick and then come up with something. This is like, okay, somebody has to set up the Active Directory. Okay, well, you could literally go to a YouTube video, watch an hour of how to do Active Directory, and then spend 2 or 3 hours trying to set it up on your side. Do you have the 4 hours? Hopefully you do. You do it on a Saturday when you have nothing else going on anyway. So that's kind of the approach. Again, when we meet, I'm going to be asking, well, I'm going to ask them questions like, okay, what's the order that you're going to do your things in? And then we talk. For example, I've had students who will upgrade the database, and only to realize later they needed to upgrade the operating system that it's on. Then when they upgrade the operating system, the database is gone, right? Or it's blown. And so now all the work they did in the database, they have to do it over again. And then so having them just think through of all these things we have to do, what order are we doing it? I try to help them make that decision, help them through that. I help them navigate through that. So I'm more of like I said, I'm more of like a supervisor that's, has some experience, but may not be, the technical expert that they're going to need. They can talk to anybody they want. They could talk to each other. They could talk to professors. They can call up their friend who does this. They could do it however they want. There's no limitation on resources that they tap for doing their thing.
Hey, real quick reminder, because we're at 10 o'clock. The students do have to attend an information session, and those are being offered next month. And let me see, can everybody see the schedule?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to go back one slide. And those dates are February 21st, 22nd, or 23rd. And I'll send the links out to everybody, including the copy of the PowerPoints. But they do have to attend the information session. So that's another place where if they go to it, Benny's going to go over all of this information with them so that they can make an informed decision about whether or not this is going to be the right fit for them. And
from my personal experience, I know from students that are in the NCL and also that in our capstone where we use a nice challenge, those students will go out and find out how to do something. So I definitely see this being a real value, and we actually, those students end up going into our internship program that we have. So, yeah, that's really good, Jenny. This is an excellent, I think, program.
Thank you. And again, please, if there are any professors that instructors that are interested in like maybe running one of these sessions, or either this coming session, or if you want to do it like in the summer, or you want to do it in next fall, let me know and we'll get you in for the teacher training.
Sounds great.
Jason, that's great to hear. Yeah,
Faculty
fully equipped
advisor.
rack would be great, but I don't know how to do that.
Faculty advisors are welcome to attend the information sessions.
Okay.
I know people have to leave. I don't know what you have to do, Mike. I'm happy to stay another 5 minutes or so if there's.
Yeah, I'm happy to stay.
If anybody has any extra last minute questions, I'm happy to entertain them.
So this
And
is
the
good.
recording and the PowerPoint slides, I'm gonna make those available on the NCyTE.
I'm gonna give them
webpage.
to you as soon as we stop here. And I had
Okay.
a question for you too. I want to ask offline.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
Hey, Vinny, real quick question.
Yeah.
You leaned back and I was trying to read your shirt. Are you a Marine?
Yeah. So this is when I was back when there were 28s. There's no more 28s. 28s is electronics, electronics field. They consolidated to the to 06s. So
Well,
06 is like that and communications.
I just want to say hoorah because I was
Hoorah.
I'm your retired Uber driver.
Oh, okay. Awesome. So it's funny. I was gonna say something with the shirt. Like, this is my work role, right? My work role was data communications maintenance officer. Actually, I was a ground ready repairman to start. But you know, the nice thing about in the Marine Corps is if you're whatever your MOS is, there's a manual that says if you're a private to sergeant, you should be able to install a radio on a Humvee, you know, troubleshoot down to the component or whatever, right? To the module. And
I
yeah,
have a
I bet. So I'll just say real quick. I could get Vinny to feel bad for me. My father was a DI at Paris Island.
oh man, I still have dreams of becoming a DI. So, but
Yeah,
you
well,
know,
just put some money in the bank for your kid therapy.
exactly. Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
Benny,
Hoorah.
you're not mean enough to be a DI.
Oh boy.
Oh no.
No.
I beg to differ. In fact, you could just ask some of my students when they see my dog face.
I've got a DOD scholarship Marine in Hawaii that would be great for this program. I'm going to send this information to him so he can sign up. He was one of our top NCL students,
Awesome.
and
Awesome.
he's probably one of the few students that completed all of the assignments in the night challenge without any problem.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great to hear. Yeah, that's awesome. All right. Anything else? If not, you know, we'll go. I know sometimes people don't get a chance.